A.K. Azad Production.
Welcome to Chrissy Whitehead, Series 1, Episode 2, Let Bygones Be Bygones. Before we hear it, let me provide a brief introduction to this episode. This second episode in the first series of Chrissy Whitehead was made by me, Abdulazad, at age 25 in 1999, 10 years after A Question of Sport. This is a spoof of the American TV program called The Jerry Springer Show. In this show, Chrissy Whitehead, as well as all my other characters from A Question of Sport, go to America and appear on The Jerry Springer Show to air their grievances. The radio play was scripted, and I was making up some of it as I went along, doing all the voices except the samples of voices I use. Even though they are bleeped out, this program contains swear words and hence is for those of you who are 15 or over. If you are under 15, you should not listen to it. At that time, I was aware of my religion and did not like swearing, but had to put some swearing in this particular comedy because I had already created the characters, and one of the funny things about them was that some of them swore a lot. Furthermore, as some of the material in Let Bygones Be Bygones now makes me feel a little uncomfortable, I'd like to state that this material was made by Abdulazad the young bachelor and not Abdulazad the husband and father. So that was a brief introduction to this episode. Let us now listen to Chrissy Whitehead, Series 1, Episode 2, Let Bygones Be Bygones. A.K. Azad Productions presents Chrissy Whitehead, created by Abdulazad, starring Abdulazad. The title of this episode is Let Bygones Be Bygones.
Now, today we're asking the question, when two people have a fight and as a result stop communicating with each other even after several years, should we ask them to forgive and forget? Or should we say, hey guys, before you deal with the future, you gotta deal with the past? Meet Chris, everyone. Okay, now Chris Whitehead, that's his full name, is a physical education teacher, and he has been teaching in England for many years now. In 1989, he was working at a school called the Eden Valley School in the southeast of England, and during that time, being a physical education teacher, he naturally agreed when asked to take part in a radio show called A Question of Sport. But unfortunately, it didn't go too well because Chris had a fight with the host of the show, and that host hasn't been talking to him ever since. And Chris is here today to say to him, okay, I'm sorry, let's move on, is that right?
Yes, hello, Mr. Springer.
Okay, you can call me Jerry.
Right, hello, Mr. Jerry. Yes, well, you know, there comes a time when one has to say, look, one's almost 50 years old, and one very much regrets what happened, even though it was not one's fault, because one had the piss taken out of one, and one just couldn't take it any longer, and one responded by becoming slightly aggressive, and so now one thinks that one should forget about all of this and think about the rest of one's life.
Okay, so you're saying you were provoked, is that right?
Well, that's right, Mr. Jerry. All I wanted was to be treated fairly, that whoops, sorry, Mr. Jerry. I mean, that gentleman, Mr. Coleman, he was giving me all these tricky questions so that I would give the wrong answers and lose the game.
Okay, but you said you want to forget about all that and apologize to him, so do you want to do that now? Because we have David, the host of that show, waiting to come on, so let's bring out David. Hi, David, so you are the man who hosted this show. You have obviously heard what Chris here has been saying. Do you want to say something to him first?
Oh, I will never forget what this animal did to me. He is a f***ing animal. What did you call me?
also took part in the show and were in the two teams. And they have flown all the way from Britain to be here with us on the show today. They arrived yesterday, and we've had to keep an eye on them because one of them looks very strange. Let's bring them on. Come on out, Evelyn, DJ Greeny, DJ Brig, and Bill. You were one of the captains of the teams. What happened exactly? Oh, it's Jerry. Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry. Okay, DJ Bridge, you were in the team as well. I believe you claim that Chris attacked you as well. Is that right?
Well, what would you do if someone stood behind you with a whip?
I didn't understand that. Are you saying that this is what you did to him and that you understand his anger and therefore forgive him for attacking you? Is that what you're saying there?
Well, what would you do if someone stood behind you with a whip?
Well, DJ Greeny, which side were you on and did you get involved in the fighting? Really? Well, why was that? I see, but why didn't you try to stop it? Right, was Bill there with you? Bill? Bill?
Sorry, Dave.
Hey, why did you want to call me Dave?
Well, what would you do if someone stood behind you with a whip? Oh, shut up, Gary. We're in the USA now. What did you tell me to do? Come here!
Question was for Chris. I was going to ask you, what kind of man are you?
A better man than you'll ever be. Now sit down.
Chris, did you get the work papers yet?
You what?
You're legally married?
Yeah, of course I am. What's that got to do with it?
I think David has got to think carefully and decide if he really wants to forgive this psychopath, because I don't.
Yes, well, who's interested in your opinions anyway, you fat American bastard?
I think Chris has got to sort his head out and start learning to appreciate people because his behavior is unacceptable even to an ordinary American like myself.
Bucko!
I've got a question for Chris. When you were moved into the shed, did you have cable television?
What are you talking about?
Is that a wig you're wearing?
Sorry, what did you say, my dear?
Is that a wig you're wearing?
You stupid ugly bitch, of course I'm not wearing a bloody wig. Does that look like a wig, everybody? And sit down, you stupid cow.
I have a question for that ugly one sitting at the end there.
Dave?
Yeah, David, why don't you let the man apologize to you, man, and forgive him?
Well, I've given up on the whole thing. I'm leaving this country as soon as the show is finished. And before you say no, I will not give him a second chance because
why?
Because he's an animal. Right, that does it, Coleman. You're dead.
in our past that is going to make it hard to deal with the future. And given the choice, wouldn't we all like to deal with our past in private? But when you try to sort out your problems on my show, things just get a whole lot more difficult. And let's face it, it's good entertainment for my audience, and it's therefore good for my background. So who gives a shit? I don't. Until next time, I'm Gary Springer, and you're not.
You have been listening to Chrissy Whitehead. All voices by Abdulazad. Music composed and performed by Abdulazad. Sound recording and editing by Abdulazad. Written, improvised, produced and directed by Abdulazad.
The characters and incidents portrayed and the names herein are fictitious, and any similarity to the name, character or history of any person is entirely coincidental and unintentional.
Chrissy Whitehead is an AK Azad production for the Azad Family Collection.
AK Azad Productions.